live on Twitch and YouTube. That's gonna be awesome. Hanging out with my friends online. Love hanging out with my buddies online. I get really sad when I don't have any buddies. Wait this shit. I just want more people to watch, you know? But I think I'm doing this at the wrong time. I think that's what I've established. I think 3 PM might actually be the worst time ever to stream. I might have chosen the worst possible time to do it. Quite possible. Quite possible. Yeah, like, actually, yeah, hitting the live stream section. Or a whole lot of people watching other stuff, at least on YouTube. It ain't great, not gonna lie. I'm sure it's higher on Twitch. I'm sure it's higher on Twitch. It's actually... no, actually that many people on Twitch either, so... yeah, I think I'm gonna shift the time. I think I'm gonna shift it. I do. Hey, we got one person in chat. Oh, no, that's probably me. Hey, one person's in chat. Probably me. Ooh. Oops. I wish I could see who's here. That'd be great. Looks like a couple of users. Oh, that's true. Hey, if you're watching this right now, type W for watch. If you're here, I want a W in chat to signify that you are actually watching. And it's not just lines. I hate lies. Alright, no W's, so it's gotta be a lie. Okay. Okay. Well, never mind that. Never mind that. Just gonna get this done. Alright, let's do this. My good and... There we go. Hello, welcome to the enemy stream. My name is Andrew Benison, and I'm communicating to you from a basement, not my usual dwellings. Some things happening, things going on, having fun with life, so I'm in a new location, temporarily, hopefully temporarily. We'll see. But we're having a good time. We're having a great time up here in this very, very musty basement. Am I coming through all right? Yeah. I've brought my PC up with me, but I've had to unplug and replug everything in. So hopefully we're all good. So hopefully we have a good show for you today. We're in the not E3 period. Everything's kicking off. So we'll be talking about the Apple VR, well, not really VR, the Apple headset reveal. I actually might just do a reaction video to that, actually, just live on stream, just react and skip through it and give you my thoughts. Spoilers, not very impressed in terms of it being a gaming... It's not a gaming device, okay? It's not a gaming device. It's not the revolution. The ghost of Steve Jobs is not here to save VR gaming, or really save VR. It's much more of an AR headset, so... Oh well, dealing with that. Cool. We'll also look at the Summer Games Fest, which we did a live stream of last night. More like Summer Snooze Fest. It was just boring. It was just dull. It's just really dull. There was no showmanship, and yes, a lot of the trailers had in-game graphics in them, but you know, it's still fake. So it just not much of it was very impressive. Not really blown away, not at all. And what else are we going to talk about? I don't have my usual setup, so... Oh yeah, Nickmercs. Gotta say that, enunciate that correctly so I don't say something else. We'll cover Nickmercs being shit-canned by Activision, having his skin taken off. He's been flayed. Nickmercs has unfortunately been flayed by Activision. So we'll look at that, and a couple of other things. It's again, like I said at the start of the week, this news week is weird because it's basically just dominated by the big game shows. It's just dominated by that. So there's not really anything happening outside of that. And the stuff in the show sucks. Like, the stuff in the shows is not particularly interesting. Everyone's, you look at any article, the chatter in the live chat as these shows are going on, it's just sort of lukewarm, mild, tepid. You go, oh yeah, here's there's Final Fantasy again, and here's a shooter, and here's Nicolas Cage on stage. It's just, the magic is just gone. There's no soul in gaming anymore. It is truly soulless. The corporatism just bleeds through everything that these people do. Everything that they put out, you can just smell investors. You can smell holding companies behind the scenes making every decision and infecting everything. So not great. It's not that we're surprised. I mean, it's like, this is where gaming's at, and of course all of these big shows are essentially for shareholders. They're for investors. They're not actually for us, the gamer, the people actually going to buy the products. But it doesn't change the fact that, me as an old head, like, I can think back to the 2000s, even into the 10s, and all these great events and all this hype that was built up and these amazing products that would actually end up turning out to be great as well. It's few and far between. There was a couple there, like Space Marine 2, and the Pokemon, Pal World, the Pokemon with guns. Like, there's decent amount of fun stuff in there, no doubt. But the overall energy is just low. It's just low. So I'm looking at myself in the camera. I think I look way more burnt than I am. I'm slightly singed, but I think I look like I'm gone through the fucking microwave tunnel at the end of MGS4. Holy shit. But I think, yeah, so we'll dive into things. I guess before we jump in, as I always say, make sure to follow us here on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you're watching. Where we live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Although probably going to be changing the time. I think 3 p.m. BST might be the worst time to stream ever. So I might shift it to the morning, like 9 a.m., 9:30. Alternatively, I'd have to shift it to the evening to catch like the American audiences. But then I'm going to have to be doing the stream at like 11 p.m. And I just don't have, I'm 34 years old. I just don't have the energy levels to do that. I'm sorry, I just can't keep up unless I start taking substances, which I'd like to avoid. I'd like to avoid taking substances. So we're Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the moment. We're doing some streams. We've got some streams planned this week, actually. So make sure you follow us for those. Let me just bring up the times on those. Yeah, we'll be covering the Future Games Summer Showcase tomorrow, and the Xbox Gaming Showcase, and maybe the PC Gaming Showcase on Sunday. But so long as you're following us, you'll catch the notifications, and you can follow us on Twitter at Enemy Team Games, just at Enemy Team Games, and we'll tweet there about when we're going live and all that good stuff. So just make sure you follow us, and if you want to watch replays, clips, etc., that's all on our YouTube channel. And we're also blowing up on TikTok. Don't know if you noticed. We posted about that recently. Our Spider-Man content. Probably going with the name Project Web. We like that. So Project Web, going pretty well. Doing some numbers. We've been working on that over the course of the week. So make sure you follow us on TikTok as well, because we've got a lot of cool stuff. Game dev, updatey shit going on there. So. Okay, a bing, a bang, a boo. Let's see, where are we at? First point. Yeah, let's go through the Apple Vision Pro stuff. Let's do that. Let's do it. I've only got one monitor here as well, which was a mistake. I should have brought both, so I'm going to be a bit slower with things. That's alright. That's good. Yeah, okay. Alright. Although I don't know how loud... Is it too loud? Just see. That's alright. Might turn it down a little bit.
Introducing Apple Vision Pro.
Yes, the Apple Vision Pro. This was announced earlier this week. Pretty goofy. That's pretty goofy. I noticed, yeah, they try to hide the battery pack. Like, they're trying their hardest to hide the battery pack every single time. Every single time you see someone using it. Like, the cable dangling down to the 2-hour battery pack life thing. It's like, it's not great. It's kind of deceptive. It's never good. Like, go back, I know I say this a lot, but like, go back to the iPhone reveal. And while a lot of that was technically fake, like, the phone barely worked, and they were having to, like, time things on the stage, like, he wasn't trying to hide, like, a battery pack hanging out of the phone. He wasn't trying to mask some kind of, like, built-in inherent issue that couldn't be fixed before release. But stuff like this is, like, you're just lying to us. You're tricking us into thinking and feeling like it is more user-friendly than it actually is. But as soon as you read an article or do any kind of follow-ups or just look at the thing, you go, okay, it's not actually that good.
You see your world and everything in it. Your favorite apps live right in front of you. But now...
I thought this was such a bizarre thing to start with. Starting with your favorite apps, and immediately it just looks like I'm looking like at an iPhone or at an Apple Watch. Yes, it's stuff floating in space, but it's like, that's got to be the most boring, uninteresting way to introduce, like, what is meant to, I assume, to be mainstream wearable AR tech. This is what you launch in with.
Now they're in your space. This is Vision OS, Apple's first ever spatial operating system. It's familiar yet groundbreaking. You navigate with your eyes.
Which is
Simply
cool.
tap to
That's
select,
alright.
flick to scroll, and use your voice to dictate. It's
And again,
like
you know,
magic.
like, you've got, hang on, let's just go. Yeah, I mean, you've got like just a standard kind of like web browser or standard phone. You know, it looks flat. It looks like something on your phone, but it's just floating in front of you. And it's like, I can just do this. Like, if I want to see pictures in front of my face, I just do this. Why do I need to wear a $3,500 headset to do that?
Dimension, react to light, and cast shadows. Even though these spatial experiences are happening inside Vision Pro, it looks, sounds, and feels like they are physically there.
And again, it's like, you know, oh, whoop, screwed that up.
3D camera,
Oh, whoa, go back. That's a weird shot.
Your
Wait.
They can see else is in the Vision Pro and use your voice to dictate.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's looking at a giant TV and looking at a giant web page there and stuff, and it's like, but I can just look at my TV, I can just look at my phone.
React to light,
Yeah,
even though these spatial experiences feels like they are physically there.
Yeah, you know what's better than something feeling like it's physically there? Like something actually physically being there, like a TV.
Foundational to Apple Vision Pro is that you're not isolated from other people. When someone else
The whole, like,
is in
yeah,
the
the whole,
room,
like, fake
you can
eyes
see
thing,
them,
it's just goofy.
and they can see you.
It's creepy! That's not, I'm not comfortable looking at that. If I'm in a room full of people wearing these headsets, I'm gonna have an autism fit, quite frankly. Okay, bye-bye.
Because you're not limited
Again,
by a
hiding the
display,
cable.
apps live in your space. Your photos can be life-size, or any size.
Yeah.
So your living room becomes a gallery.
But again, it's not. The living room isn't a gallery. The living room being a gallery would be like the pictures are projected, like in real time onto the walls and, you know, orientated to different surfaces. But this is just a giant flat. Again, I could just do this. It's the same thing.
And panoramas wrap around you as if you're right where you took them.
You know, that's okay.
Apple Vision Pro is
Yeah,
Apple's
that's a
first
weird
ever
shot. That's really weird.
camera.
I would feel very uncomfortable. Like, if I was a kid and my dad's, like, wearing a headset, like, gurning at me, like, recording me, that's weird. And I'd feel very uncomfortable doing that. It's like when people walk down the street and they've got, like, a Bluetooth headset in or whatnot, and they're just, like, screaming and ranting and just talking like a madman. It's so much different than someone being on a phone. There's something kind of grounded. Like, you can tell that someone is communicating because it's a thing. But when it's just sort of like, hey, I'm looking at you. Like, hey, I'm filming you. I'm staring at you. It's just sort of weird, right? Like, that's creepy. That's a creepy
Now,
shot.
you can
Like, if we
capture
put horror
photos and
music over
videos
that,
with
it would feel
remarkable
strange.
depth
You'd feel uncomfortable and
relive a
anxious.
memory
You'd want to get out of
as
there.
if you're right back in the exact moment.
Weird.
Experiences on Vision Pro can also expand
Satanic.
in
This stuff just
dimensions,
comes across as just sort of
filling
bizarre,
the entirety of your space.
weird, like
Like
demonic
in the mindfulness
imagery.
app, where you can create a moment of calm.
That's not calming. It's strange. I have a sense of evil. Again, just put horror music over it. You'll get what I'm feeling. You'll get where I'm
Apple
coming
Vision
from.
Pro brings the scale and wonder of a movie theater to whatever space you're in.
Okay, we'll skip this.
Audio-
Yes, you
You
can have a
can bring
giant
in a-
screen.
Vision Pro is a wonderful way to play your favorite games. Just connect your controller.
Like, this is the future of VR gaming? Really? You're gonna buy a $3,500 headset in order to have a giant floating screen in front of you, which she's using a PlayStation 5 controller, sorry, so that's probably just like a feed from the PS5, but it's like behind that screen, that fake screen is a real screen, so just use the real screen. I don't get it. I don't understand.
And play on
This to me is the most disappointing part of the whole thing. I don't think we'll watch all of it, but like this to me just encapsulates like the complete failure to lean into the potential of VR gaming and capture that market and shake it up. As I've been saying for weeks and months, like I think VR really needs a shake-up. It really needs a revolution. It needs somebody who truly believes in the medium and is making it like their core purpose, or at least building a product whose core purpose is to expand on that potential. And this image is just it's just the absolute reverse.
a massive screen with incredible.
Good grief.
With Apple Vision Pro, you can create the perfect workspace, no matter where you are.
Yeah, and then we get into workspace kind of stuff. Again, you're just looking at a giant floating web browser, talking about black people. Cool, I can do that on my phone. I don't need to be wearing a headset with a battery in my
You
ass
can arrange
pocket.
them however you like.
Not necessary.
And work seamlessly across them. In
And
Apple
yeah,
Vision
I think
Pro,
the
you
pinch
see
grip,
people life-size,
you know, no need
and
for a
with spatial
controller.
audio,
That's all
you
cool
hear them
stuff. The
as if they're
HoloLens
right
did an
in front
element of that
you.
as well. This looks
So
a hell of a lot better. Like,
conversation is
cool.
more natural, And
But again,
collaborating
like,
becomes even easier.
I can't see myself
And
pacing
because you
around my
see the world
room
around
with
you,
like 55
you
apps
can
floating
glance at a
around.
notification.
That just feels like ADD,
And even
ADHD
connect to your
central.
Mac
Like I'm gonna
simply
have a
by
complete
looking at
like
it.
psychotic break because I'm
Turning
just
a
being
13-inch
bombarded with
screen
like imagery and visuals
into
from all
a
different
giant
angles.
display.
I actually think it's better to focus on one thing at a time, not have loads of stuff being hit at you from all different angles constantly.
Environment movie on a huge just
We'll
how
go back, we'll
immersed
skip through.
you want to.
Yeah, well, okay.
And
Has anyone ever, have you guys ever been on a plane? Have you ever done flight travel? Have you been through airports? Have you seen how the TSA and security and everything treat your devices? And they always say, you know, laptops and everything in the tray, go, 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 get your fucking shoes off, show me your asshole. And it's like, okay, and now I'm just going to daintily take off my, you know, reveal my $3,500 headset, place it down, hopefully it doesn't get scuffed or cracked or bashed or bogged or stolen. So, you know, I'm not, it's like, to be fair, the Switch had this issue as well, where a lot of the initial trailers, it was showing like, hey, you can be on the go with this thing. You know, you can be on the bus and be on the train and go on holiday, and it's like, how many of us have actually done that with the Switch? Like, yes, like 80% of us play Switch in handheld mode all the time, but it's to be on, so we're playing on the couch, right? I'm not taking my Switch on the Metrolink. I'm not going on the bus with my Switch. It's going to get stolen in like 12 seconds. Or some stinky guy's going to go past and fucking vomit all over me and cover my Switch in vomit. You know, something, fluids, liquids are going to hit it. People are going to be pouring at it. People are going to be staring at me while I play Tears of the Kingdom or whatever. Or Pikmin. So it's like, yeah, you're just not going to do that. Who's going to do this? And if they are, if you're wearing a $3,500 headset, you're not in economy minus. It's not even economy plus. They don't even have screens there. You're going to be in first class, where you already have screens. You're going to be like flying in one of those Etihad super planes, A380, where you get an entire room to yourself, if you can afford an Apple headset. So it's just, you know, it's lying to us. No one's going to do this. Nobody. You'll never see this. And if you do, people will be pointing and laughing.
To make all these digital experiences feel real in your space takes an extraordinary amount of technology. Yet Apple Vision...
Okay, we're just jacking off to tech. Cool, cool, cool. I think we're pretty much done. Weird face scanning. Hey, give your face data. Along with your voice, biometrics, everything. Just give that over to these guys. You can trust them. You can trust them.
Since your eyes see the world with incredible pixels,
you know, okay, technology's great. I think we're done. I think we're done with this.
And a brand new chip.
Oh, you can watch footy.
The era of spatial computing is here. This is Apple Vision Pro.
Amazing. Okay. Again, I'm on one monitor, so I have to like constantly flip in between. Get my hair sorted. Boop-a-da-bap. Yes, it's just unimpressive overall, which is sad to say because yeah, the technology is it's incredible technology and it's doing things which no one's done before. But there's just something. Again, there's no soul there. I can't see really any practical application. The practical applications there, it feels like that's not being sold to me. It's not even necessarily being sold to businesses. It's being sold to like business magnates that want an entire room full of like automaton drones. And we can't get that yet. So the closest we can get is like strapping headsets onto everybody that will like monitor their pupil dilation so you can tell if they're lying or not. And it makes them more it makes them more efficient because now when they want to go down to the shops, when they want to go to Co-op or Morrison's to grab a bite of, you know, grab a sandwich at lunch, hey, they can still receive updates and emails and notifications and shoot off a file if they need to. It just feels very like this isn't a thing which is going to enhance. There's no like element of futurism there. There's no element of like I want to live in that future where we all have those headsets. It just makes me go like, we're probably going to be forced to wear these at some point, and it's going to suck. Like, that's how I feel. It's just not exciting. And then on the gaming front, there's nothing there. So I'm very sad. I'm very sad about the state that VR gaming is in. I say this on almost every stream. It's just not in a good spot. My hope through doing the Spider-Man project and seeing the positive response is that there is a groundswell, there is a hungry market out there, and you can see it with other VR games. And the Meta Quest 3 is going to be better than the Meta Quest 2. I like that it's thinner. That's good, I guess. And the PSVR 2 is a step up from the PSVR 1. I don't want to be overtly negative and unnecessarily harsh. Generally, it's moving in the right direction. And if you look at things like the mobile phone market, it's like, yeah, in 1995, mobile phones were big, they were chunky, they were very expensive, only the richest of the rich could use them. And if you tried to sell that as a mass market device, everyone would just laugh at you, as people did. But technology improves, it shrinks, it becomes more efficient, battery life improves, etc., etc. And so potentially things are going to get better, potentially we're going in the right direction, but I'm still just eternally concerned that the current trajectory is in the negative. So, and I really wanted a big win from Apple. I really wanted them to come in and do what they did to the smartphone market. I wanted them to do that to the VR space, and they've not really. So, we'll see how things pan out, but not too exciting. Not very happy about it. Okay. Next, we'll look at the Summer Games Fest, which games developer here covers as making a surprisingly light splash again. I don't know, guys. Not very surprising, quite frankly. Not surprising at all, honestly. I'm just gonna use this as a jumping off point. So yeah, while E3 lies in ruins, Jeff Keighley now stands tall with his Summer Games Fest as the event that kicks off a major summer of video game marketing. And yet, for a second year in a row, the show has introduced itself with the announcement of Elden Ring, once again put show-stopping game reveals in the back seat. And yet, it was just strange. You can go watch the stream. Jack and I reacted to it live last night. That's something that we didn't notice. We did not notice that there was no women making any onstage show after years of improved on-screen diversity. Not enough that, like, Alan Wake, you play as a black lady, and Prince of Persia, you got, like, black dudes with dreads, and I'm sure I saw people from all colors and creeds and everything on screen, but that's not fucking good enough. No, there's also got to be, we've got black women and Asian dudes and everybody on stage as well, and a disabled person who's maybe cut their cock off at some point, or attached a cock at some point. Doesn't really matter, just so long as you're ticking all the boxes. That not good enough. No, we have to have all that as well. So yeah, it just wasn't very exciting. It wasn't, and look at how many titles there are. Like, we should be excited. Something else we did notice is that when, oops, I'm clicking my, oh no, it did work, cool. Something that we did notice is the live stream chat was quite slow on the official stream. And there was a lot of, like, Zeds. A lot of people, like, boring, lame, whatever, uninteresting. Not all negative, but there was a lot of that. It was quite frequent, and the chat didn't move that quickly. But then we realized towards the end that was limited to, like, sponsors only. So if you, like, subscribe and give money via the YouTube channel, only you're allowed to comment. Which also explains why there wasn't a ton more, like, racist, sexist shit and, like, actual funny comments. It was very boring looking at the chat. It was not funny at all. And it's like, okay, but it's like, hang on, but these are the people who actually, like this stuff and are signed up. They're here to specifically comment, and even they're not that interested. So it's what I've been saying over many, many episodes. The new model, the new framing of, like, what we're going to do is these highly curated, highly scripted, mostly pre-recorded shows where there's no room for anything to go wrong. There's no room for anybody to be a human. It's all tightly controlled. And even when they say, plenty of times they'd say things like raw gameplay, and it's like, why don't you just say gameplay? Is that because for years you've been showing us gameplay that wasn't raw gameplay, that was actually fake? Yes. And so, we're in a terrible place where, like, now a selling point at a show is a trailer which actually has gameplay in it, to the point where they have to, like, overextend on, like, wow, and it's actual, like, real gameplay, guys. I know we don't usually show you that. So there's just all, like, there's no soul, there's no energy. A lot of the games are just boring. They're just not interesting. There's a lot of, and more sequels, more remasters. Look, it's Sonic. It's Sonic. Again, it looks exactly like it has done for 30 years, but it's ever so slightly different. New graphics. Okay, whoop-de-doo-dah. There was some cool stuff. We liked Space Marine. We liked Pal World. I think that's the name of it. But yeah, I think, the baseline content overall is just not that interesting. Everyone's too scared at this point to do anything experimentative or crazy or weird or actually interesting or engaging with the presentation of the shows. So it's just, the whole show is just Jeff Keighley comes on stage, he says some pre-scripted thing, and then Nicolas Cage or a game dev comes to the side. They stand there, they go, hey, what about your game? And the guy goes, my game is fucking awesome. And then they look at the big screen, and you then watch raw gameplay that is uninspiring and uninteresting. And then you get an advert for like a Samsung TV that costs like $3,000. And then it's just that on loop. And then the show ends. And it's just, there's nothing to it. And I also think, and if I just go back to, has that worked? Oh, doing this with one screen is a fucking nightmare. Why is that dark? Why are you doing that to me? Yeah, I think I loved this. This was one of the high points of the show to me. This single frame in particular, because this is great marketing. That is so eye-catching. You immediately, the contrast between Pokemon sheep that should be cutesy, but they're looking kind of angry, and they're wielding like M60 like mounted machine guns that look realistic. Instantly, you're like, that's fucking weird. That's interesting. I want to see more of it. And the way that trailer was presented as well was also pretty funny. I think it was probably one of the best presentations of the show. But the thing is, like, most trailers are not like that. And we complained a lot about this during the Meta Showcase, that it's a lot of, like, words, narrative, writing, story, lore, etc. I just think we've lost, like, marketing has just taken a nosedive. We've lost any ability to actually genuinely get people excited for things. And I think that does come from, because the shots are all being called by boring money men, people at the top who are just totally just bottom line focused. That trickles down, it bleeds down, and everybody at every level is just there to do a job. They're just there to put out the information. We are making this game, it is an FPS, it is violent, and it is releasing on Steam and PlayStation. It's a lot of information and a lot of, and the story is this incredible thing where this guy does a backflip and he's looking for his long lost father, and it's like, I don't care, show me the gameplay. Show me the gameplay. The gameplay is the most important part. But you do need to present all of this in some kind of encapsulated form that gets me hyped, that gets me excited. And like, I'll go against the grain. I'm not against pre-rendered trailers. Like, when you ask people, like, what were some awesome trailers from back in the day, people will say, like, Gears of War Mad World, which was an announcement. It was a release. It was the release trailer, right? The Gears of War Mad World trailer, awesome, so memorable, gets you so hyped. It teaches you about the world. It gets you like, it just hits every fucking note absolutely perfectly. It's haunting, it's beautiful, which is unexpected for like a Meat Muscle Man kind of game, but it worked. There's no gameplay there. I think it was technically in-engine, but it was like pre-rendered in-engine, and yet we'll find that acceptable. We find that fine, and also around that is ancillary content where you can just watch raw gameplay content. So like, cool, you know, that thing can exist. This whole push towards like, well, we're just going to show you just snippets of gameplay in a montage over the course of 30 seconds while some guy just, you know, talks over it about, oh, I'm going to save and defeat the villain and we're going to kill the demons. It just doesn't get you hyped or excited in any way, shape, or form. So, I mean, that's my big takeaway from these shows is showmanship is just dead. Like, marketing is just dead. And it's because there isn't any real creative spark coming from behind the scenes. There's plenty of creative people, but the developers, essentially, the people trying to make the game, but they're all being compressed and oppressed under this system that actually doesn't want to do any of that. It doesn't want to do anything crazy. It doesn't want to do anything out there, experimental, or really all that memorable. Which sounds counterproductive. You'd think you'd want the most memorable thing ever. But it's about precedence, about setting standards. The status quo wants things to be mild, bland, boring. They want things to be like mobile gaming, not PC gaming in circa 2004. Because if every year the standard is 2004, you know, with Half-Life and Doom and everything else, it's like, well, then you've got to meet that criteria every single show. Every single year, things have to get better. The status quo doesn't want that. And so you've got all these amazing, talented people throughout the industry who want to do crazy stuff, and they're just not allowed to. And no doubt there'll be people wanting to put together crazy trailers and crazy shows, and it's just, there's no money in that, though. Nobody at the top wants that shit to happen. And so you just get these tepid, lukewarm Meta Showcase, for me, like 2-3 out of 10. PlayStation Showcase, same deal. That Summer Showcase, probably, yeah, more like 1.5 out of 10. I'm more critical, I'm more harsh, but I don't think the average person is giving any of these shows 9 out of 10s. I don't think the average score is going to come out. We should probably do that. We should probably do like a, I don't know, like a poll or something where we can and then aggregate and get like the average. You know, like you have like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. We should do that for these game shows because I think that would be extremely, what would you call it? Not polarizing, not highlighting, insightful. It would give you a great insight into what's like the zeitgeist of the average gamer. What are people thinking? I don't think they're thinking maximum hype. I mean, you could even the fucking crowd, who I assume there's a lot of people who have been paid to be there. Even the crowd, like, there was a lot of this kind of clapping. Like, not people like, fuck yeah, like, oh my god, this is the fucking greatest thing ever. It was not any of that. It was a lot of like, the trailer ends and then there's a pause and then, okay, great. So even the people paid to be like your hype man, even the people who have like flown out to LA or wherever it was at, even then just going, yeah, okay, cool, that's all right, whatever. An Alan Wake sequel 15 years later and you still it's still got batteries, replacing batteries in your torch as a central mechanic. Like, all right, but didn't we played that like as kids? Can we play something new? Can we play something like cool and exciting? Apparently not. So that's my feelings on the Summer Games Showcase. I do think, format-wise, it's terrible. It's evil. It doesn't do anything good for us. Jack and I had a bit of back and forth on that on the stream. You know, he thinks Keely's one of the good ones. One of the last good ones. I think he's the complete opposite. I think he's like the chief propagandist for the games industry, because every single year he's coming out and saying, we've got a bigger and better show than ever before, bigger and better titles than ever before. Look at these all amazing world first, world exclusive announcements, bing bang boom, pre-order this. And we're all just sort of like, we're just watching the screen like, yeah, oh, okay, cool. He's the guy that should be doing the show that showcases like Enemy Team and other people out there doing crazy stuff, that starts focusing on like what's actually good and exciting. You can see he's looked soulless for years. You can tell that this shit's ground him down behind the scenes. But he's making tremendous amounts of money, and he's the focus, he's the star of the show now. He's literally the mouthpiece of the world of gaming. You know, he has multiple events now every year where it's like, we gotta go to Jeff. He's got the best show in the world, best exclusives. Basically the only guy with the exclusive announcements and world reveals. And it's just like, okay, so for the money and the fame, you are just lying to us and creating this highly curated, highly constrained, very scripted show that does nothing but constantly spin gaming in a positive light and try to convince you everything's great, everything's awesome, and it's better than ever before. And hey, you should go buy an Xbox Series X with a Porsche livery on it for $800 because that's a worthwhile investment. It's just gross. It's just gross. I don't like the guy. I've not liked him for a very long time, and I don't like this format, and I don't like this constant pretending like nothing's wrong. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. The whole world is dishonest at this point. But it's like, can we not even in the sphere of gaming be like, hey guys, there's an issue here. Things are not great. Things feel like they're on the decline. Can we not say that? Do we have to keep pretending like everything is fucking awesome constantly? Because it's not. It just isn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe I'm the crazy one. But I don't feel that way. Well, actually, no, I do feel crazy a lot. But in this instance, I feel like pretty fucking sane stating this stuff. But we'll move on. We'll cover our next little story. Not a super exciting story, not gonna lie, but an interesting little thing. So, Friday the 13th, the game is being delisted and shut down. The game will still be playable until at least the end of 2024. And this is coming from, where are we on? We're on GameSpot. So yeah, the game's going to be playable until, end of next year. It's unclear whether the game will shut down for good, but there's still time left to enjoy it. The game will be available to purchase for $5, so they've dropped the price, and I think there's some like DLC that they've also dropped as well. And this is because they've got an expiration on the license. We'll just read this straight from the horse's mouth. Our time has come. The license for Friday the 13th will expire on December, blah, blah, blah. Game will, however, continue to function until the end of December. yeah, so they've reduced the price of the game, reduced the price of the DLC. And we'd like to thank our community for the dedication they've shown to the game. And we're happy that it will live on a while longer and continue to be enjoyed by anyone. And there's some people playing it. It's been a good run. Only game I play. Legendary game. The torch will be passed, though. Well, will it? I think this is interesting because it highlights a pretty fundamental flaw in, like, making licensed games sucks. We covered this in the last episode. The dudes making the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Similarly, they were like, look, we have the rights to make a game based on the 1974 film, so we can only use like set pieces and characters from that. We can't use stuff from the rest of the expanded Chainsaw Massacre universe, if that's a thing. It probably is. And so they're heavily constrained, and we've experienced this in part. We've done some licensed stuff through like work. I was gonna say work experience, work for hire in the past, and yeah, it's an absolute minefield. It's highly constrained, and again, the people who own the license don't give a shit about the game. They just give a shit about making money. So they're happy. This is why, you know, like most movie tie-in games, most licensed tie-in experiences are generally subpar, rarely good, because the point isn't to make a high-quality product. The point is to take that Spider-Man logo and put it on a lunchbox and put it on a pencil case and put it on a backpack and then also put it on a video game. And much like all those other things, it doesn't have to be high quality. It just has to be a pencil case. It just has to be a backpack. Well, it just has to be a video game. Not necessarily a good one. We do sometimes get some wins, but it's pretty fucking rare. So, we already covered that with that it's like, okay, sounds great. You're highly constrained in making the game. But also, what's the value add? Or like, what's the point in heavily investing your time as a gamer into a licensed-based game if it can just be taken away from you at some point? If it can just be completely shut down? And as they said, it's going to continue to the end of next year. Okay, fine. But then beyond that, what? They're going to have to like shut down all official servers and everything for it. They're not going to be able to support it. We're going to probably see fans try and keep it alive, as we've seen with many other games. But it's fair to say, much like you see with many other cease and desist situations with other, you know, modern games, or people making like their own Pokemon games and whatnot, that could very well happen in this instance as well. So what's the point in dedicating your time and energy? What's the point in building a community or getting involved in a community around a game where, sure, all games have a shelf life. All games will die at some point and cease to exist. But if we're dealing with like tight licensing restrictions, then it's like, why would I get involved in that? Because at some point it's just going to go, and then if we try to do anything else with it, we'll just be sent like a cease and desist and like sued if we continue to pursue. That sucks. So it also ties into the point of like, well, do we even need, like, did the Friday the 13th game need to be Friday the 13th? Because by being Friday the 13th, okay, you get that brand recognition, but you also have certain constraints. Things have to look and act a certain way. Some people would say constraints is an important part of creativity. Sure, fair enough. But is licensing-based constraints the best way to make the best kind of game? No. And also, if they'd said, look, we're going to make asymmetrical or asynchronous, whatever the word is, you know, 1v-many horror game, a la Until Dawn, but we're going to set it in a specific kind of universe. Well, you could have just made something new, something that is a video game that's not derivative from another medium. And if that goes great, and if that goes well, guess what? You never need to shut it down. And you could still end up doing the licensing deal at some point in that product, like you've seen with Until Dawn. Is it Until Dawn? Not Until Dawn. I always get it mixed up. Dead by Daylight. Yeah, Dead by Daylight. I always get those two games mixed up, even though they're nothing alike. They're nothing alike. But yeah, Dead by Daylight. They've obviously put loads of different characters and now Nick Cage and whatnot into their game. So it opens up the possibility to do that. So I've never understood it. I've always been wary. I've always been wary, and I'm certainly not wary of getting involved in those kind of games because generally they're not very good. And yeah, they could just be shut down at any point. And what are you going to do about it? So, like I said, not a super exciting story, but I've not got much else to talk about, quite frankly. Despite the week and everything that's gone on, it's just it just still feels like we're in a drought. Or it's like there's lots of news, there's lots of stuff happening. It's still just boring. It's just not interesting. It's not exciting. I don't know who could get excited for like everything that's happening right now. It's just bland. But we'll move on. I like this story. I do like this story. Is that working as well? I keep having to flip between fucking Firefox and OBS to even make sure I'm still on screen and you can actually see what I'm looking at. Yeah, so Activision has removed Nickmercs skin from Call of Duty shop following anti-LGBT plus comment. Streamers refuse to apologize. Awesome, by the way. Love that. Absolutely what you should do. Even if you've completely fucked up and it's totally your fault and you've ruined everything, never apologize. Terrible idea to do that. So yeah, he's apparently, you know, Eurogamer, lovely Ed Nightingale here taking the side of all of the lovely people on Twitter. I was going to call them something else then, but I'm on Twitch and YouTube, so I can't do that. Yeah, he's made an anti-LGBT plus comment. What a fucking bigot you are, Ed. It's not LGBT, it's LGBTQI plus, actually, Ed. You fucking bigot. Piece of shit. Unbelievable. White guy, by the way. Also white guy. Also, boring articles. Also, you are not good at your job. Nothing there is... Wow, Spider-Man 2 developer confirms new footage in Spider-Verse. Wow, great article there, Ed. Nice job. Awesome work. So what's going on here? Yeah, so his comment was in response to a video shared by esportscaster Chris Puckett in which pro-LGBT plus demonstrators were attacked outside a school in California. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. Yeah, so wow, well done, Chris Puckett. It's this like liberal, libertarian. Hey man, just everyone can be friends with everybody. Never take a stance. Like, yeah, liberals take stances on absolutely everything, and they're constantly shifting the Overton window in a specific direction. But if you are not literally in front riding the wave, if you're not surfing the wave of progressivism, just don't say anything, man. Just let everyone be happy and free and just be like cool with everything. Just don't talk. Shut up. Stop talking and stop saying things. Stop grabbing the Overton window and shifting it back in the other direction. You know, wow, okay, but we're really intellectually equal here. We're really both good faith actors. Sure. Well, here a good faith actor comes in, Nickmercs, and he said they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. There's the tweet. Can you still see it? Yeah, you can see it. So there you go. Oh, this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. So sad. So sad. And yeah, you know, that really encapsulates it, right? That really encapsulates it. I mean, I'm not in the me trying to live my life. I'm actually trying to do something about this as well. But it is true. You know, we're just being constantly blasted with it. And it sucks. But yeah, he said the very, very uncontroversial, clearly uncontroversial because it's garnered a ton of likes. Guy hasn't been ratioed at all. I wonder, can I see this tweet in particular? Can I see the subtweet? Oh my god, can anyone make anything good anymore? If I click that, okay, click that specific little piece of text, that's what takes me to the tweet. Cool. Not just clicking on the thing. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's fucking great. What an absolute ratio on the original post as well. That's awesome. And then, of course, he has to respond. What a yaggy motherfucker. Who is this they? And what terrible act is everyone afraid of? Fucking child rape. Child grooming, kids being given puberty blockers like estrogen blockers and testosterone without their parents' consent. Like, our society getting more and more corrupt and fucked up. Like, maybe something to do with that? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing? Crazy, right? But yeah. So it's great to see him say this. But what's the response to that? Well, the response sparked outrage. Did it? It sparked outrage. Hang on. Beep, 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 beep. Let's just go back. Looks like a load of actually looks like it sparked mass support. And I'm not seeing, what's this? Anyone? I'm not seeing people going like crazy. Yeah, with you, Nick. It all has to. So it looks like actually the majority of people agree with Nick. And I don't even technically agree with Nick because I'm way more extreme than him on this topic. On most topics, I'm pretty extreme. On this one, I'm in a very extreme opposite direction. But of guys like Puckett. But generally speaking, like the position Nick has, as far as I can tell, well, we'll listen to him in a second talk. But you know, the general position that people have on these topics is the sort of just live and let live. Like, look, stop. If you want to be, as a grown adult, you want to cut your cock off, you want to do crazy stuff, you want to take drugs, etc., go ahead, do it. Just do it in a way where it doesn't affect me. I find that to be a very libertarian. It's the libertarian argument. It's actually just a liberal argument, and it also doesn't work. Like, once you hit a certain age, and I used to believe this, I used to ascribe to the view that, well, you know, what happens in your bedroom stays in your bedroom, and live and let live, and I can have my views and you can have your views. I can love mint choc chip and you can love vanilla, and everything's great, and we can all hug and kiss at the end of the day. And it's like, once you've actually lived life in the real world for a couple of years and just paid attention to things over the past 2 decades, you realize that that's absolutely not possible. Like, we do live in a society, we do all affect one another with our actions, and in order to have a cohesive functioning society, there have to be certain values and principles. There has to be a bedrock, a foundation of values and principles that don't really change all that much, that we can all generally agree to, which we did have in the UK and in America in the past. We now don't, as a consequence of rampant liberalism and capitalism and all these other things. Tons of isms. And so everything's fucked up. Everything's messed up. And the people who radically think and agree with this kind of stuff are pushing things further and further in that direction. They're further and further intolerant to anybody who disagrees. And they're intolerant to themselves. Like, these people did not have this position specifically on trans stuff. If you ask any of these people 10 years ago, they'd probably say things like what we're saying right now. They'd probably agree with Nick. So they don't even agree with themselves. Year on year, the position constantly changes, constantly warps, and it's always about breaking down our system and our society further and further and further, but not putting anything good in its place. And that really gets to the fundamental. Like, I'm sure Nick wouldn't probably say this publicly, but it's like, do I think any does it make sense to live any aspect of the LGBTQI plus XYZ, fuck it, whatever, any aspect of that lifestyle, is that good to live like that? The answer is no. We've proven that. It's no. It's not good, and it's not healthy, sensible, morally right to propagate that and promote it to other people. And it's certainly evil to try push this on children. It's straight up fucking evil. Because it ruins lives. It kills people. It perverts and warps people. It you know, we have this issue in society, you know, listen to like Ed Dutton and he'll talk about like the spiteful mutant. We definitely have that issue. You know, we have a genetic issue in our society as a consequence of us essentially ending like natural selection. That has caused many issues. Okay, why on top of that would we actually then like mutate people further? Like mutilate them, fill them with drugs and chemicals. Like, it's not good. So what was my point with this? Where am I going with this? I'm just going off into like a societal rant here, which I should just do on my own channel in my own time. But yeah, my point being that most people do not hold that position, but they're starting to head in that direction. And what is Nickmercs doing? He's not saying anything near that. He's simply saying, hey, do what you want to do. He's in that libertarian mindset. He's, you know, either he's trying to play it safe, or maybe he's just not experienced enough of life at this point. He's not a jaded 34-year-old. But he's looking at things like, okay, you can do your pride stuff. You can cut things off your body. You just got to be of a certain age. Please leave the kids out of it. And what does he get as a consequence for that incredibly calm, rational, pretty safe, uncontroversial opinion, which plenty of people agree with? Whoa, whoops. There we go. What does he get? Well, massive reputation loss, because he has a skin in Warzone in Call of Duty that's been pulled from the store. And Call of Duty has said on their official channel, due to recent events, we've removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from Modern Warfare 2 and the Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating pride with our employees and our community. I wonder if they got ratioed. That'd be interesting. Oh, you got a lot of likes. That also garnered a lot of likes. A lot of people. I just delete. Hey, but look at that. Wow, nice. Leave kids alone. That's great. That's awesome. We like that. That's cool to see. But it's like, this is more, so what's happened to him? This is, oh man, my throat's so dry. Again, I'm burnt. I'm burnt. Inside and out, guys. I'm burnt. This is more than just a guy losing a revenue stream, losing skins. this is serious reputation loss for him. He has now been tarred, essentially, without anyone directly saying it, he's been tarred with the, you're a bigot, you're transphobic, etc. Now, and you had this with like JonTron. You know, JonTron said, I can't remember what he said. It was just before Ukulele came out, of which he was a voice actor. He had a voice actor line in Ukulele. JonTron was like, hey, you know, hey, Hitler wasn't that bad, hey! So something like that. And, you know, the guys at Platonic were like, whoa, let's just pull him out. But the fact that they did that now means that JonTron is permanently associated with that kind of brand. Like, he does so much damage to a brand that they had to pull him out last second from his game. And still to this day, when people talk about JonTron, like, that still comes up. And so the same thing's going to happen with Nickmercs. Okay, he's just lost a skin, a bundle, and a thing, and some people are talking about it, and some people say mean things. But it's like, any brand ambassador, any marketing exec, anybody who's looking at doing crossovers, packs, deals, sponsorships, whatever, when they now look at the list and go, what about Nickmercs? They're going to search his name, and then they're going to see transphobe, bigot, embroiled in this thing. Activision Blizzard removed him from their game. This is an organization that's paid, you know, that's had to do a lot of settlement of lawsuits and fire a lot of people for like sexual harassment and all sorts of weird, creepy shit behind the scenes. That stuff goes on for ages. But what this guy did is so bad, so egregious, that they have to completely expunge him from the product like same day. So this is going to affect him moving forwards. And this is the soft power projection that this stuff can do to people, because anybody else can see this. We can all look at his tweet and we can like it and go, yeah, hooray, buddy. But it's going to dissuade others from speaking out because they go, well, the reputation loss, the permanent bridge burning that then occurs, the permanent loss, not just in income from that revenue stream, but all future income that's potentially lost. And of course, streamers, influencers, whatnot, people involved in like esports, they live and die on like sponsorships and ad revenue. Yes, they sell their own merch and everything, but a huge component to it is being able to engage with other brands, and in doing so you make money. Well, this hurts them. So what does that say to everybody else under the kind of Call of Duty umbrella right now? And generally speaking, everybody else who's under, whether you're playing StarCraft or Halo or Rocket League, if you're under big corporate umbrellas, it says, if you say the most like inoffensive comment about LGBT stuff, or like, hey, I don't think children should be left in a room with like somebody who is incredibly perverse and sexually orientated and interested in increasing their ranks by filling children with drugs. Not even saying that. I mean, that's me going crazy again, like going, you know, beyond the pale, but just literally saying like, hey, can we just leave kids? Can we just leave kids in sexuality until they're older? Not, you know, even that, like a very milquetoast, like safe opinion. That will have you permanently marked, permanently tarred. That is a form of power projection to ensure that other people don't say what they actually want. In turn, making us all more dishonest as a consequence. It turns everybody who's part of the system, not just, you know, newscasters or Jeff Keighley on stage or the main Twitter accounts of these, you know, the main mouthpieces of these corporate entities, but like anybody who's so far down the totem, just an influencer here, a streamer there, these people similarly will go, well, it's not worth stating my opinion. I should just put the pride flag as my profile pic during gay month. I should just agree with Puckett. I should just agree with this guy and go, yes, it's so sad. Let everybody, it's just easier to say, live and let people love who they want, and don't be an asshole, don't be a jerk, be a lovely person. It's just easier to say that, and it guarantees that I don't lose any money from any of these large corporate deals. So he did also, it did have it was in one of these articles. I think he does. Where is it? He did. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me just play this. He did. It's like, this is his response to it. So on stream, it's great that he hasn't apologized, by the way. This is great.
Yeah, I do not feel that way. I just simply feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the...
Look how, like, wait, am I playing that? You can't. Okay, you heard that. Sorry. Let me just replay that. Oh, having one screen sucks. This is awful. I feel like a caveman. Let me just play it again. I'll play it again, but just look at his body language. Look at how uncomfortable he is having to say this. Like how avoidant
I,
it is.
I do not feel that way. I just simply feel
Rocking,
that I
uncomfortable,
want to be the
nervous,
one and my
twitching.
wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the tweet. You can take the tweet if you want and you can spin it, flip it, flop it, quote tweet it. You can put 10 paragraphs on top of it. You can do whatever you want to it to make you feel better if that's what you want to do. But that was the tweet. Okay?
That was the tweet.
So if you came here to hear that, I hope you feel a little better about it. I didn't mean to upset anybody. I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweet because I don't feel like I'm...
Nor should he. He's not said anything particularly offensive, quite frankly. Let me just wipe that back to... There we go. Get the headset off. Hate wearing headsets. Yeah, he's simply saying, like, I want that to be the dominion and domain of my wife and I, like, the parents. Which is an incredibly sane thing to say. Whether it's about, like, sexuality or religion or politics or whatever, it's like, of course, that's absolutely the right and responsibility, and also the right thing to do. Society should not be structured around kids learning absolutely everything, like, in school or, like, through social media. There should be certain things that the parents have dominion on and should be able to protect their kids from. But that doesn't fit with the overall direction that we want to go in. It's like, how do you generate more LGBT type people? You need to indoctrinate. A lot of it is trauma based, quite frankly. Again, it's something that nobody likes to talk about because it's very ugly. It's an ugly reality, but it's true. A lot of it is trauma and abuse based, but it's also you've got to try and convince people and normalize this stuff. And if you can get people viewing it as trendy and the right thing to do and cool, then as we're seeing right now, it's something like 2 in 10 or 3 in 10 Zoomers identify in some form as like LGBTI because it's the thing that gets you the most attention. It's the thing that makes you the most special. You need parents to be able to control their sphere of influence, their children's lives, to make sure that they don't get suckered in to a movement that is utterly destructive and also wrapped up in corporate interest. Like the whole like trans like medical scene is now worth like multiple billions of dollars because you've got drugs and surgeries and therapy and everything else. So there is an immense, much like the privatized prison system in America, much like that, where it's like there is a heavy duty incentive for people to go to prison. Well, there is a huge incentive to get people to transition or to become gay or to do this, that, or the other, because there's now so many services, goods and services you can sell them. And some of those, you know, like, hey, if you lop off parts of your body and invert them and create a, you know, neo vagina, it's like you need to shove stuff up there. Well, somebody's got to sell you that thing to shove up there. They're going to sell you drugs to make sure that you don't grow beard hair or do grow beard hair or whatever. So it's awesome money-making stuff from their perspective. And in the face of that massive, overwhelming corporate pressure, parents are standing up like Nick and saying, like, hey, I just think kids should be protected from this. And immediate reputation loss, immediate career being damaged. To the point where you can see he's like nervous. I mean, I've not watched him that much. Maybe he just I don't know, somebody tell me, does that guy always do this? Is he always like, I just think that this is my opinion? You know, he's like fucking Michael J. Fox, like, I don't know, maybe he's got Parkinson's, who knows? But I think he's nervous. I think he's anxious. I think the damage, and the fact that he's not apologizing is great, but it'll be interesting to see if the pressure gets stepped up further from this. I expect it will. But let's see. But we'll move on. We'll carry on. We're coming up on an hour, so I'll wrap this up soon. I thought this was interesting. Again, boom. Can you see that? Yeah. Like, really? Do I even have to say it? If you guys have been watching for any amount of time, do I even have to say it? Beat Saber takes #1 in May PlayStation VR 2 download charts. I don't even need to read the rest of the article. I just wanted to show you guys. Like, are people starting to get my point that it's like, an entire medium cannot essentially live on one product, and it doesn't seem healthy or right, and it doesn't seem like a medium is growing and going from strength to strength if every year the best-selling thing is Beat Saber. And when the hot new device, like the PlayStation 5, powerful device, PlayStation VR 2 headset, you know, better OLED screens, links to the console so you get use of all that power, amazing haptic feedback controllers. The value add for that thing is like, this is gonna immerse you. This is gonna allow you to play super high quality looking games. They're gonna sound amazing, look amazing. They're gonna be super visceral. The future of VR is here. I mean, you boot it up and you're like, what should I buy, guys? And they're like, Beat Saber. They're like, yeah, you know that game where you cut up cubes that came out like 7 years ago? Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah, it's on PlayStation VR 1 as well, sure. And they've done a free upgrade, and it's like, okay. So we're just gonna keep playing Beat Saber endlessly, and that's not a problem. Not a problem. It's a great game. It's fun. But surely there should be new stuff. Surely there should be newer, exciting things. It shouldn't be Beat Saber #1 on the PlayStation VR 2 leaderboard sales figures. What, 3-4 months after the console launched? It should be, I don't know, like the Halo of VR. Like, it should be like Gun Day or something. It should be something new and exciting and awesome that leans into all of the capacities of the PlayStation and does new stuff in a way that not only pre-existing VR gamers go, wow, this is fucking amazing. I love Beat Saber, but I also love this. But also new, like, it would bring new people into the fold, like other gamers who are still on the fence about VR, or maybe are just like, nah, VR's not for me. They should be looking at that thing, that fictional non-existent game, and be going, holy shit, I need to have that. Okay, buying a PlayStation, buying a headset, buying the game. That's awesome. But we're still playing Beat Saber. It's still Beat Saber, and Beat Saber, I believe, is one of the best-selling VR games. Like, it's top of the charts. It's made over 100 million at this point. Gross. I don't know if that's net. I can't remember, but it's at the top of the chart, and great, cool, that's fine. But where is the stuff that is new and exciting? Where is the stuff that's going to take VR from being niche to mainstream, to everybody wants it? Because if it's not going to happen with the PSVR 2, and it didn't really happen with the Quest 2, and it's certainly not going to happen with the Apple Reality Pro, whatever the fuck it's called, it's like, when's it going to happen? And if it doesn't happen, and this is the other thing, if it doesn't happen, then there's not enough consumers for most of us to justify working in VR. There's not enough publishers and investors willing to fund and put money, serious money, into the pot, so you can have more than a 4-hour-long VR experience. You can have more than just a bare bones tech demo, which is what the world of VR has been stifled with for so fucking long. So, you know, it's not an incredible news story. I just want to, again, keep making this point. Pretty much every show, every week, I'm going to keep beating this drum until people start to realize, like, I'm right on this. It's not good. I really hope the trajectory for VR as a whole is going in the right direction. But, you know, if the same game is just constantly the top seller for years, and that game is the most bare bones implementation of what your medium could possibly be, I don't see that as a positive. And I know people think that's crazy. They go, hey, but it is a great game and it's making money. Why are you complaining? And it's like, well, I've just explained. If you don't get it, you don't get it, and you're never gonna get it. So, but I think most of you do. I don't know. Type G in chat for if you get it. Like, do you get it? All right, hit me up with a G in chat. That'd be great. What are we on to next? Yeah, I mean, nah, fuck that. That article's boring. That's boring. That's boring. I think we're just going to wrap it up. It's at an hour. I'm burnt. I'm in a musty basement. My mouth is dry. I got videos to edit. And I need to save some of my voice, because we are going to be covering, let me just go through actually, yeah, so we'll wrap things up, but we are going to do a few live streams over the weekend. We're going to do live reactions to some of these awesome, amazing gaming showcases. So we're going to do the Future Games Show Summer Showcase tomorrow, and we'll likely do both the PC Gaming Show and the Xbox Games Showcase on Sunday. So make sure that you're following us on Twitch or YouTube and Twitter, because we will post when we're going live with all of those exciting shows. I should be on at least with Jack. Michael's a little sick at the moment, so we won't have him on, although he's usually quite quiet. He's a meat guy, and he's a very, you know, he takes his time. I just blurt shit out. Like, Michael actually thinks about what he says. I'm just like, fuck this, I fucking don't like it. Or I'm like, yeah, this is great. He actually, like, takes his time to think and construct his sentences. But he's ill. He's a little sick right now, so, you know, thoughts and prayers for Michael. One heart for Michael. We love him, but he's gonna be off. But it should be Jack and I. So if you make sure that you're following us on all these platforms, you'll see the notifications when it goes up. And if you miss the episodes, just go over to YouTube. We'll have them uploaded there. And we'll probably do clips and all that kind of stuff. So it should be fun. It should be exciting. Am I excited for the actual shows themselves? No, not really. But I'm excited to, like, make more content. Hopefully we can entertain you. And hopefully something good comes out of it. Like, I hope we see some cool Halo stuff. I don't expect that. It'd be interesting to see what Xbox does with Redfall. And I think PC gaming is still generally... There's wins in the PC gaming world. The PC gaming show is usually really fucking boring, though. But hopefully just something... Hopefully something good happens. And if it doesn't, you can just watch Jack and I complain for a couple of hours, which should still be fun. We make some jokes, we have some laughs, but we try to keep it, TOS friendly, which does kind of suck. It's funny, the second we end streaming, we get a hell of a lot funnier because we start saying things that we just know we're gonna get banned for if we say them. So, oh man, like I gotta get on another platform. I gotta leave this country, because that's another thing as well. Like, there's so many things that I say and believe that just this country has made straight up illegal. So it's like I don't want the police knocking on my door. I guess it would be good content. Hey, it worked for Count Dankula. He did that whole gas the Jays with his pug. Did that anti-Semitic pug thing. That basically built his entire career. No one knew who he was before that. So maybe I do it, but I've also got like a business to run. Like I'm not just a streamer. Like I'm trying to make games here. I'm trying to build the future of gaming. So I do have to be a little careful, but I'm rambling now. So anyway, this has been the Enemy Stream. Thanks a lot for watching. We are live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually at 3 p.m. But I think starting next week, probably going to shift to 9 a.m., maybe 9:30. So again, so long as you're following us, you'll see the update. So make sure you catch our live streams over the weekend. If not, make sure you watch the Enemy Stream on Monday, probably at 9. And regardless, have a great weekend. See you later.